What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another legendary episode of Speculation Alley. It's your boy Abomb here as usual, and with me, of course, is my brother from another mother, Crypto Dilly. What's going on, my man?
Not a lot, man. Really excited to get into this. I think this is going to be I think everyone already has this on their mind, but I'll let you, open up.
I think they do, and what we're going to be getting into is NTEC, or also known as New Tokyo Electric Company. Are they a good guy? Are they a bad guy? Are they a middle guy? What kind of guy are they? Or girl, we don't know. But I think really what's important is to think about how iconic stories have been told in the past, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Is first of all, in any TV show or any movie, in the first 5 to 10 minutes approximately, you're going to see every main character. You're going to see the hero, you're going to see the villain, you're going to see the love interest, yada, yada, yada. And it's to establish like an understanding of like, okay, this person's important, but also connection with the audience towards these characters so that we can get to know them better. We're getting to see them right off the bat and diving into their world. So Boss Toads was one of those individuals who we were instantaneously, I guess, introduced to with 10KTF. Right away, it's literally, these bad goons are after me and I need somebody to help me, hide my goods is what Wagmi-san was requesting. So there's this element of, that, and which is why I think that I don't see Boss Toads really, or Boss Wolf or Boss Guttercat Gang being wiped from the story. I rather see sort of this evolution taking place. And what I mean by that is, again, thinking of iconic storytelling and just things that I've seen in my life was the putting differences aside, almost like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we've had our obstacles, we've had our sort of trials and tribulations with Boss Wolf, Boss Toads, and Boss Guttercat, but it's sort of that iconic moment when you guys are fighting each other or amongst each other on the playground, and then you look up and there's like this bigger bully on the playground, and you're like, well, shit, I can't beat that person by myself. And it's like, I know you can't beat that person by yourself. So it's like, why don't we tag team this and, take them down together? So I think that makes the most sense as well. With WeNew's sort of storytelling, the reason why is the kaiju versus the mech, right? Like, I'll say it myself. Like, even though there was a bunch of Achilles heels all over the mech's body, I was like, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be insane. No, it's not that, because like really the masses, they don't like enjoy seeing that type of gore and violence. And instead we saw the most, epic, like Pixar sort of storytelling, which is like friendship defeated this great beast, and it didn't even kill him. It just shrank him and made him cute. So it's like, if we're going to follow that same narrative, I think that sort of speculation where the Boss Toad, Boss Wolf, and Guttercat will have to put aside their differences, with either Wenmoon and Wagmi-san or Reese even, and move forward in trying to dismantle NTEC, if you will. So there you go.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really interesting about that is obviously like, what you said in Hollywood and just in storytelling in general, as you introduce the protagonist and antagonist in the first sequence, right? And we saw that in season 1, and I think we're gearing up for season 2, and it makes a lot of sense that obviously New Tokyo Electric Company is coming in as the bad guy. And something that I brought up in a Twitter space was the fact that, New Tokyo Electric Company, all of a sudden they just like break ground and start building this, new facility after Wagmi-san's already gone, right? So is that good or is that bad? And I think with Boss Toad kind of coming over to the other side with Wenmoon, when they're searching for Wagmi-san, it makes a lot of sense that they're kind of like stepping on their turf and like they're basically taking over, and they're like the big corporate suits with like the Men in Black glasses on, and it doesn't give you a good vibe. It makes you really feel like they're the antagonist of the storyline, and something much greater that is bad is going to happen within New Tokyo. And it makes a lot of sense that all of these foes that were once against Wagmi-san would rise to defeat a much greater enemy again, the same way that we saw, with the kaiju. And what I'm really interested in, and I'm curious to hear your input, is how does that narrative and storyline really tie in with what's going on with the trial of Jimmy the Monkey and the narrative going on with Yuga, especially because we're going to see that overlap. And I think the convergence of all of these different characters or collections ultimately makes sense from like almost like a Big Bang like I guess event that happens where basically, you know, these time warp continuum, like massive Big Bang because of a portal shift or a cosmic, you know, summoning, if you will, happens that, you know, basically converges all these different characters and collections to be able to inhabit the same world. And do you think that there's something like that that's going to take place?
I think so. It's odd for two reasons that the summoning happens on the 15th, literally the day after we have the IRL Kagami claimant party, which is the 16th. Why didn't they do it earlier than that? They could have done it the Thursday before. And another thing I'm curious as to is sort of the alpha that will be there at that party, kind of like what we're saying, like, are they good guys? Are they bad guys? Are we going to be greeted with like, you know, people that are just like sort of assholes and like, you can't stand here. Like, what kind of vibe is it going to be? But I think the sort of cosmic catalyst event that takes place where all of these worlds coincide, one of the things I've been thinking is maybe it already happened, right? Like, how has Wagner-san been to the other side? We found his glasses in there, so who's to say maybe there wasn't almost like a mousetrap set in place that was triggered that then caused this domino effect where we saw Blue, like, you know, he was having a regular day. He was just chilling, collecting his little blue orbs, like nothing, no big, right? And then all of a sudden shit hits the fan, and that's that mousetrap effect that I'm talking about that might have been layered out there somehow that Wagner-san laid. I don't know, but I do think that Wagner-san has some part to play in, you know, why these worlds all converge in the way that they do.
We know for a fact that obviously listening to the podcast, the fucking metaverse with people, that like obviously Wagner-san's gonna like kiss people on the forehead as they enter the metaverse, right? And that's something that
I love that shit.
You know, we've obviously had that information since July 1st in the Discord, but with the knowing that, like what's going on in my head is that a lot of there's kind of been like this quietness in the Web3 space recently, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's like the bear market, blah, blah, blah. You know, usually silence, in my opinion, means that people are building behind closed doors and they're preparing for something. And I think ultimately, like when the other side, the next trip happens, I think that is where we're going to see a massive convergence of a lot more stuff actually ripple out. But one thing that I noticed today, and Bonaldo from the 10KTF/Puma community pointed this out, is the new Puma drop that's about to happen. It's like this green shoebox hovering over what looks like a sewer lid. And he overlaid that with the summoning like picture of Gary the Prophet, you know, over that pit. And it's like, holy crap, like maybe there's some tie-in with Puma that's going to happen here, you know, going with the 10KTF narrative. And then if that's happening with them, we still got Deadfellas, we got Ranga, we got Chimpers, all on the back burner. And so these worlds colliding, I have heard like rumblings of something happening with Ranga for, you know, a month almost. Like there's something that's going to be coming around the corner. And I'm just like, there's this anticipation and build up, and it could be just a massive rug, but like I'm speculating that we're going to get something good and there's going to be a convergence of these storylines, and it hinges on 10KTF kind of progressing their storyline. And if NTEC or New Tokyo Electric Company is emerged as the antagonist of the story, it makes a lot of sense that we're going to need those resources. We're going to need our friends to ultimately power up and rise against, you know, this enemy again. So I really like this theory, and I like where, you know, that's headed for the whole storyline of Yuga as a whole.
Yeah, it's kind of like a outward scope of just looking at sort of where like the timeline is and where it could progress to with the current characters that are involved. With just, I mean, 10KTF at the base of it, obviously. But another interesting last point that I want to make on this subject is how easily NTEC took all of Boss Toad, Boss Wolf, and Boss Guttercat Gang's Genesis items. Wagner-san couldn't even get that shit back. So we were over here like worrying, like we had Wenmoon like break in one time and get some of them for us, but like they still had quite a bit of that. So it's interesting to see that.
Let's talk about that real quick for an outsider that may not have been paying attention. Last week, we actually saw New Tokyo Electric Company literally be able to just like steal back all the Genesis items that all these gang leaders actually had in their inventory. So the way that we know that within 10KTF things are stolen or, you know, gifted or whatever is tracking the blockchain. And so we just started seeing all of these items just get passed and transferred out of one wallet to a new wallet, which was NTEC's wallet. And so they had this tweet, and that is exactly what Abomb's talking about, is they were able to take out all those items from the wallet. Continue.
Yeah. I'm glad that you broke that down. I kind of just went straight into it. I bite the middle of the donut, not the outside. But yeah, at the end of the day, you like that one, huh? At the end of the day, I think it's interesting to see that sort of power, right? Because we had some of these, you know, foes fearing Wagmi-san, but at the same time, we had Wagmi-san having his own reservations towards, like, you know, how much he could do and what he could do. So to see somebody come into this storyline and be able to just sort of like kind of bitch slap all these bosses and be like, yo, this is mine now, and you can't say anything about it. I think we need to keep an eye on them. That's to say the least.
I totally agree. And I think that's a really good stopping point for this week's episode. I know that we are able to kind of take an outer view of everything that's going on in the story right now as things are a little bit slower. But I think just having that perspective is super important. And I'm really excited to see what happens this week. But that's it for this video. Definitely leave a comment what you think is going to happen next in the storyline. Do you think New Tokyo Electric Company is good, or do you think they're bad? And you know, I bought NewTokyoElectric.eth like, you know, 4 months ago. So, hey, if you want to buy that, you know, they could become the biggest thing that happens. Pump my bags, baby. Go buy that on OpenSea. But no, seriously, like the video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and definitely ring the bell for notifications. We drop a new video every single Wednesday, and then we follow it up with a Twitter space right there on Twitter, obviously at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's it for this one. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.